Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 188, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. How's things?
Things are good. I'm feeling much better. I was talking with someone who said I sounded a little scratchy on the last episode, and that is true. But healing up and feeling much better. So yeah, good. How are you?
So what does Brian Hall's life look like when December rolls around?
It feels like Thanksgiving is the top of a slide.
Okay.
And then the whole rest of the year is me sliding down that slide.
Gotcha.
Not in a bad way, but just it gets... Every weekend is filled with, things. We have like our friend group, we've had this like annual Christmas dinner for about 10 years or more, and some birthdays and holiday parties and work parties and deadlines because you want to get everything finished early so you don't have to work over the break. And so yeah, it gets full, but it's all fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about for you?
Well, my semesters are winding down, so I'm kind of in this. I'm entering this rush of extreme busyness for the next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
followed by a couple weeks of just absolute serenity. So
good. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yep.
So just hanging in there, but we got lots of movies to talk about. It's been a busy couple weeks. I've gotten screeners up the yin yang.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you've seen.
It's, the unfortunate thing for me, my situation is that it's harder for me to watch a movie via the screener disc than going to the theater. Do you have this problem? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Is it because of your device, or is it because with the family?
It's mainly the family, right? Because it's like I just don't have time while the kids are awake, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not going to be like, hey, let's watch Joker, So
right.
Come on, kids. So it's easier to get away, and it's very funny because I just a couple days ago I went and watched 1917.
Right.
Which is the new Sam Mendes movie that it's not due to hit theaters until Christmas Day, and then it hits a wide release like a month from now, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to see it, so let me just watch it now. And then like the screener arrived today.
Oh, funny.
And I was like, oh, well. But it truly is a theatrical experience.
It just, even from the trailer, I get the sense of that. I mean, it's what, a World War I drama, right?
It's a World War I drama that the gimmick is that it's told as if it's entirely one take.
Mm-hmm.
And I say as if because obviously you got a 2-hour movie. There's cuts in there somewhere.
Right.
They're hidden very well.
Mm-hmm.
There's only, as far as I can remember, there's one overt moment where you're like, okay, that's for sure a cut.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I can't think of one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you forget the gimmick. That's sort of the brilliance of this movie is you're so pulled in by the story and by the characters that you completely forget that gimmick. And the story is you've got these two soldiers who are given orders, like, we need you to cross no man's land and tell this, a battalion of soldiers, like, who are about to launch a raid, like, don't do it. It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, by the way, your brother is one of the people who's, like, in this raid.
Oh, wow.
And that's the gist of it. So it's like point A to point B. That's the story.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end, you're so completely like, come on. You're just trying to get there. And it's very funny because of course, Martin Scorsese has been dining out on his anti-Marvel critique, and he was talking about, those movies are just like theme park rides, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my reaction, like watching this movie, I was like, man, this is like a roller coaster.
Right.
And I was like, we can view the phrase theme park in a pejorative sense, but I'm like, and I doubt that that's maybe what Sam Mendes would want the movie to be characterized as.
Sure.
But that's truly what it felt like. And I mean, the movie ended at like 9:00, whatever. I get home, and like 90 minutes later, I was like catching my breath still.
Wow. Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
I can't wait.
And it's also very funny because there's all these familiar faces sprinkled throughout, right? So you've got Colin Firth and what's his name, Moriarty from Sherlock. I forget the actor's name.
Yeah. Shoot, I can see his face. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, he was also Inspector. Speaking of Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch and Mark Strong, all these people, and they just show up for like a second. You're like, oh hey, that's so-and-so, and then we move on.
Does Rowan Atkinson show up as like a sort of bumbling?
He's pretty much the only one who's not
soldier.
There. It's like British Where's Waldo,
right?
But it reminded me of the movie Thin Red Line.
Yes, right.
Which is like the American version of that, where you're like, hey, it's George Clooney for like a second, and hey, isn't that Sean Penn? What's he doing?
Right.
But it's absolutely one of my favorite movies of the year.
Oh man, yeah. I just saw the trailer again on a big screen, and I was just thinking, oh man, this is like a get out of your house.
It
Go
is.
see a big screen.
Like I got the DVD, and I'm looking forward to rewatching it, but I'm glad I had the experience in the theater.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I watched The Irishman in the theater.
Is that like a theme park ride?
It is. No, it is not at all. Actually, it's like hanging out with your grandpa's friends and
You
finding
should put
out
that on the poster.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Except at any moment, you worry about saying the wrong thing, and they might off you. But no, it was one of those things. I mean, I was looking forward to this movie, that Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, which most people know as that 3.5 hour long Netflix movie.
Yes.
With the aging and de-aging effects. But yeah, this was one of those things where I just knew, if I had the opportunity to get out and go see it, I would much prefer that than being at home and sort of being distracted and pausing for pee breaks and what. Like, I just kind of wanted to throw myself into it, and so I went out and did that, and I'm glad that I did. It's interesting. I mean, before the movie came out, it debuted at some festival, and people were raving about it and saying it's a masterpiece and all these things. And then it was interesting because then once it dropped online, I was noticing people being like, "This movie's slow, this movie's boring." And it's funny because I don't think anyone's wrong. I mean, everyone has a right to their opinion, but I do wonder if this is a tough. There's totally two arguments to this. I can imagine it being a tough Netflix experience, because there's a lot to take you out of its immersion. But on the other hand, I've seen a lot of people make this argument. I mean, people will binge watch 4 or 5 episodes of Stranger Things. Sure. So they are conditioned to watch even longer spans of entertainment on at home. So it's kind of interesting. But as for the movie itself, I really enjoyed it, but I did not enjoy it as much as I love like Casino, or Goodfellas or The Departed, and those movies have a little bit more of a rushingness to them, like a ticking clock sort of thing that is really palpable, and it's almost like it starts to wind to get tighter and tighter, those movies. And then I think it's Casino, the one where they're Joe Pesci. It's like as things get crazier and crazier, it's like all the ways that he has to go out of his way to not be bugged or monitored by helicopters, and him switching cars. Like, it never gets that sort of lunacy and that sort of fun craziness. This is a way more straightforward movie than that, but I did find it compelling. I knew nothing about Jimmy Hoffa, except that I knew that he existed and that he disappeared and no one knows where he is. Right, okay. Or where he went. And this is the story about Robert De Niro plays this character who Frank Sheeran, who worked with the mob and became very close with Hoffa. And there's like scenes where it's just them in their pajamas, like talking. And it's funny because it's just I think your mileage is going to vary. Like, I found it kind of compelling just knowing that these are two dangerous people, and just sort of this weird friendship and bond that they get. And then just as things inevitably in this line of work, and when you have these ties to bad people, things always go sideways, and just what that does to relationships and whatnot. There was a lot of great character drama in it, but like I said, it didn't register the same for me as some of other Scorsese's work, but I did enjoy it. And I was with people who also enjoyed Scorsese's work, and enjoyed it slightly less than I did.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So I mean, it's good. It's good, but it's not something that I'm thinking like, Zachy, drop everything. You gotta watch The Irishman. So, I think hopefully that makes sense where I landed on it.
It does, yeah, and that is a movie that I've sort of held off on mainly because I'm just trying to find hours in the day, you know.
Yeah.
That being said, this is another movie that actually, just like Roma last year, Netflix really pushes the swag hard.
Oh, what's the swag for this?
Well, they sent this book, this like coffee table book. Same thing with Roma last year, and I'm telling, this thing is so big, you could drop it on somebody's head and they would die.
Wow.
And I'm sort of like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, it's like, it's so
I know,
big.
it's so nice, and you feel grateful to receive it.
Yes.
I have a couple of those things from other stuff, and you're just like, but yeah, I don't quite know what to do with it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's like space is already on at a premium in my house, and I'm gonna be like, come on, kids, let's flip through the making of The Irishman. You know?
Yeah. But I'll be very curious if you check it out.
I'm hoping to before the end of the year. I am curious though. Did the de-aging technology I hear is like next level?
You know, yes and no. I mean, yes. The only reason I say no is because I don't think, aside from Samuel Jackson in Captain Marvel, which is, I just didn't see the seams, frankly, in that one. This one, it's slightly jarring at times, simply by the nature of we know what Robert De Niro looks like now. Right. And they just can't perfect the way a face twitches, because we're not thinking about a face twitching, but faces twitch, and so when they don't do those little things, you just can't help but know there's something going on. Right. You definitely, I've seen this in other reviews and I agree, you do get used to it. Okay. The only thing that doesn't work is, these actors are in their 70s. Right. And I think at one point, they never really say exactly what age they are, but at one point, I think they're supposed to be in their 40s. Okay. And you see this clearly 70-year-old body moving, like beating up a guy, but with this like young face. But he's kind of like, all right, like trying to like beat this guy up. And so those things can get a little wonky. But that aside, again, I mean, as slower a pace as this movie is, I didn't find any scene uninteresting. Okay. Right. So it's like you just sort of let those things go by, and you're invested. Okay. So, yeah, I'd say that's my take on that.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing if my take matches up with yours.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I actually had just talked about in the last episode, I believe, watching the Toys That Made Us series on Netflix, which I really enjoy. They do such a great job of talking to the people who are there on the ground as these toys were being developed or created or being put out on the shelves. And so you get this firsthand account of all the stories. And they have this kind of breezy, fun, slightly smirky tone to the way that they, edit it. And then I just saw that they dropped a series called The Movies That Made Us, which is now out on Netflix. Same people, same style, and a really cool thing where they go to the people who were there. So, for instance, I watched Home Alone. I think, what do they have? They have Dirty Dancing, Home Alone, Die Hard, and Ghostbusters is what they dropped. And they go to, not only the director, but they also go to the production designers, and they go to, people who are involved in the true nuts and bolts of the movie and their recollections. And so it's really fun. So, I mean, for these movies, I know a lot about them to begin with, but it was really fun to hear, some like new insight from people who were there. And for example, just one thing about Home Alone I didn't know. I don't remember if we talked about this, but it was all set to go with Warner Brothers. Okay. And they had like built the sets, like they were ready to rock. But then Warner Brothers, they were about to go $1 million over budget, and Warner Brothers was like, no. Like, if you go $1 million over budget, like,
Oops.
no. Yeah, so John Hughes on the sly goes over and talks to Fox. Actually, you know what? I think it was just like a lunch, and he was telling them about their woes, and they're like, well, what's the movie about? So he pitches them the movie, and they're like, tell you what, if anything goes south, don't stop. And so that's exactly what happened. So then the Warner Brothers pulled the plug, and they said one of the guys who was there, I think it was like a production designer, said a Warner Brothers executive came through and said, "Hey, we're shutting down shop. We're shutting down shop." Went office to office to office, and then immediately someone from the production came through. Was like, "That's not true. Keep going. That's not true. Keep going. That's not true." And then Fox, like, they never stopped. So all the money that Warner's, dropped in there to begin with to build their sets, they finished with Fox, with Fox money. So
Well,
it's
there we
interesting.
go. Wow.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I watched that. I watched Ghostbusters. I'm looking forward to the other ones.
I'm looking forward to starting that. Yeah, that's again. I'm sort of waiting for things to slow down a little bit so that I can finally get into all that.
Yeah.
Real quick, got a listener letter here I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Seth Goslin, and he says, "Thank you for the time and energy you spend on sharing this treasure of a podcast with us.
Wow.
One of the things I particularly enjoy is the impressions you will lapse into from time to time. I don't know if this is something you'd do, but I've imagined it and it cracks me up. I've taken a couple of short scenes from Star Wars A New Hope and have fan cast alternate actors as the characters of Luke, Han, and company. And these alternate actors are those who have received movie film impressions over the years. Would you both like to perform a dramatic reading of these scenes on the podcast? If not, I hope the idea still amuses you as much as it did me, and feel free to embellish with these actors' common movie film catchphrases." And it's very funny because Seth actually provided a couple examples, and he has like Mark Wahlberg as Luke Skywalker, and Nicolas Cage as Han Solo, and I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is Chewie.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm like, I totally want to do that. I want to like production it up a little bit,
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. We'll add like the music and that'd be kind of a fun little thing. Yeah, that's fun.
So that's something I want to plan for that. Maybe we can make like a post-Christmas thing out of that, possibly.
Sure. What a creative idea. Thanks, Seth.
Well, and I love that purely by accident we have sort of built up this repertoire of characters on this show.
Yeah.
Which,
I hope Tommy Lee Jones is in there because I that is my favorite. I'll just go ahead and say it. That's my favorite.
Now, wasn't Tommy Lee Jones one of the people who auditioned for Han Solo? I feel like
that feels like a thing, doesn't
right?
it? Yeah.
If not, that should have happened, right? All right, Chewie, what are you doing down there? But thank you so much. He calls it a treasure of a podcast. Which
I
is
know.
like,
Gosh, thank you so much. These never ever get old. Like I just truly can't believe it every time we get one of these emails. So thank you.
It's kind of crazy to realize like we're going to be hitting 200 episodes.
I know
before too long.
When you said 188, I couldn't believe it.
I know it's nuts, right? But thank you, Seth, for that. And why don't we take a short break and then we'll come back and talk about some new trailers. And we're back, and hey, a couple new trailers dropped this week, and so we were actually supposed to record a couple days ago, and we ended up holding off, and I'm glad we did, because we are able to discuss these.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So first up is the Black Widow film, which is coming out next May, and you know what's funny is I realized as I was talking to you, I have no idea who's directing this.
Oh, Kate Shortland.
There you go.
Yep.
Which that's no slight on Kate Shortland, but it is an unfortunate acknowledgement that the Marvel assembly line is such that that directors tend not to get talked about as much as they should.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. She has a movie called Somersault, and most recently it looks like Berlin Syndrome and Smilf, the TV series.
Smilf. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It does sound familiar. I don't know what network that's on, though.
So coming in with a relatively light filmography.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one. Well, let's play some of the audio first, and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I used to have nothing. And then I got this job. This family. But nothing lasts forever.
Heard you had to leave in a hurry.
It's never easy these days.
So what are you going to do?
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
I know you're out there.
I know you know I'm out here. So we're gonna talk like grown-ups? Is that what we are?
Well, what did you think? I mean, what did you think of the trailer? What did you think going in? Like, were you excited about a Black Widow movie?
Kind of what I always say. Like, I know I'm gonna go,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'm gonna like it, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
But again, that's a very Brian Hall response to these sorts of things. Like, I think these movies are all fun. It's not this movie in particular, but all the Marvel movies, I'm like, yeah, of course I'm gonna be there. Kind of a feeling.
Yes.
What about you?
No, I was kind of in the same boat. Like I can't say I was like hugely. I wasn't like waiting for a Black Widow movie. I know a lot of people were, and that's fine. But I mean, definitely from my end, I was like, well, partially because like the character has been killed off,
And in such a meaningful way
right?
that it almost feels weird to like go back.
Yeah, and so you can look at that one of two ways. You can be like, look, this is a chance to, it's like a hidden gem. Like we get to go back and spend a little bit more time with this character, right?
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. I'm kind of like, yeah, but I want to see what happens next. Like that's me,
Sure. I
Right.
get that.
and so going in, I was like you. I was like, well, I mean, obviously, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But that being said, I thought it was a pretty good trailer.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like what you'd expect, but surprisingly, like slightly darker.
Yes.
Because I had a moment where I thought, "Ooh, this looks kind of hard, like harder than I'm used to from Marvel." And then I remembered, like it was Marvel, and I was like, "Oh, it's not going to be." Like, what I mean? It's got to feel like the others, but like in a cozy way.
But it does feel evocative of like Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's on. If you were talking about like a spectrum of what to expect from a Marvel movie, that's slightly grittier,
Sure. Right.
But I wonder. It feels like a contractual obligation on some level.
Huh.
But I'm
Okay.
just wondering whose contractual obligation. Like, is this Marvel being like, hey, we're paying you $20 million for Infinity War, so that check is going to come due, or is it Scarlett Johansson being like, hey, I'll do your Infinity War, but that check is going to come due? Like, who? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know.
Who wanted it more?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
But this one, it has the traditional May leadoff slot, which Marvel movies have had since like forever. I wonder what the budget is on this thing.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Right? Like I can't imagine that they're spending like $250 million or something on it.
No, but it didn't look any less than any of the others.
Right. So I'm wondering. I will never be the person to bet against a Marvel movie, but
Right.
I wonder how big of an audience there is for this. I'm curious.
I bet. I don't think. Well, obviously, it's not going to do like Endgame numbers, but I
Yeah.
think I don't know. Just everyone shows up for all of these. Like they just. It's their yearly fix.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it's going to be pretty big.
I mean, Scarlett Johansson got $15 million for this, which is good work if you can get it, right? So I'm guessing it's somewhere between $100 and $150 million,
Yeah, sure.
and that's probably 150 would be on the low end, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I'm
probably
wondering,
like a butt ton of visual effects in it.
yes,
Right.
and I think this was the movie where they had offered it to a different director. I don't know if you remember this. And I forget the director's name, unfortunately, but they basically she was put off because she was the pitch she was given was like, don't worry about the action stuff, our VFX people will handle all that.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, I don't want to do that,
I gotta be honest, I don't blame her.
Yeah, I mean that's the danger that you would imagine a lot of these, a lot of these directors feel as they move into this universe. I mean, if you notice, there are ever since Wave 1, there haven't been any like name directors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, am I
having to think about it. I mean, there's been some interesting choices, like Taika Waititi, right?
He's
Who's
interesting,
sort
but he
of
wasn't
like,
a
oh, I
name.
didn't imagine him making one of these. And then I mean, I know a lot of people were aware of him from his comedic stuff, but I'm sure that put him on a huger scale.
Yeah,
for a lot
so
of
that's
people,
so in other words, that's what we're seeing, right? It's directors who are on the cusp, and then Marvel like basically
Makes them a name.
Yeah, put some nos in the tank,
And then they get to make their Jojo Rabbits.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, James Gunn, Guardians made him a star,
Right.
and then go down the Russo brothers, all these guys.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they had their sort of, I don't know if cult's the right word, but they did have their followings.
Yes,
But now we all know who they are.
right, exactly.
Right.
Because the first phase was like Joe Johnston and Kenneth Branagh, right? Mm-hmm. It was those guys, and we don't get like name directors like that anymore.
Right, like Jon Favreau's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, like I said, I mean, I didn't feel like I haven't seen anything I haven't seen before,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.
I did like seeing David Harbour as the Red Guardian.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm appreciative of Marvel's new attempts to, sort of superheroize overweight guys. And I say this partly as a newly overweight guy. What's funny is a couple days ago, my kid, my oldest, he's just, we're just talking, and he just randomly looks over at me and he goes, "So you really got fat lately?"
Really?
Yeah, that's my kid. and I realize like I'm just like I'm carrying a gut around with me now.
Right.
And this is I'm doing like the stuff I didn't used to do, like where I'm wearing jackets.
Right.
Or I do the thing where I walk around and I have like if I'm go to class, I have like my iPad. I'll like hold it in front of me, and I'm doing this stuff unconsciously.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, this is like a new thing for me.
Right. Finding ways to sort of flattering display. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm not used to being the fat guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot. Yeah, it just at some certain point, I'll never forget this. I was working on this movie. I was like in my 20s, and I had this crazy metabolism my entire life.
Yeah.
And I was really skinny, and I was eating these cookies out of a box, like just cookie.
Yeah.
And the editor of the movie walked in, and he just started was like watching me for a second, and he goes, "You just eat whatever you want." I was like, "Yeah." And he wasn't condescending, but he was just sort of, I think, curious. And then it really was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe I can't do this my whole life. And then there was a point, where it's like you start doing whatever you want, eating whatever time of day you want. And then all of a sudden, you start to see yourself fill out a little bit, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean,
starts to happen.
I mean, at some point, I just hit this wall where I just started wearing sweatpants all the time and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I think I just gave up. I think I've given up on life. So I don't know.
Oh no, it's not too late. It's not too late.
Well, the Red Guardian gives me hope. So between Red Guardian and Bro Thor, I'm just glad that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is representing people like me, Brian.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at there's a bunch of people: William Hurt and Ray Winstone and Rachel Weisz, and I can't say this actress's last name. Florence, is it Pugh or
Pugh?
Pugh. I saw her in a movie. I didn't realize it was her, but I saw her in this movie called Lady Macbeth.
Okay.
I cannot remember if I talked about it on the show, but it was one of those random things that was starting on HBO. As I was flipping channels, and I kept it. And she is very good. She's very compelling. So, and that's a really interesting movie. Very dark, as a warning for people who check it out or want to check it out. But
and she's also in a movie called Fighting with My Family.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, where she plays a wrestler called Paige.
Okay.
But-
yeah. But
but-
no, she's good. I was like, oh wow, cool. She's in this.
Well, and she plays like another Black Widow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and that's a character from the comics. So I fully expect that Marvel
I
is also
see.
doing a little bit of seeding here,
Got it.
right?
Cool. Well, I hope it works out.
It's kind of interesting because you
I
got,
hope
like,
it works out. I said about the Marvel movie.
about the I know.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I hope that little indie movie that they're making does all right. Yeah, but I mean, between the Hawkeye series and then the Captain America or the Falcon and Winter Soldier series and now Black Widow, it sure feels like Marvel is in the legacy business.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, it's funny. I had actually kind of forgotten about those shows.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So that's something to look forward to on Disney Plus. Because I was thinking when Mandalorian ends, what do I have to look forward to?
Yes.
There's all the movies to dig through, but I forgot those series are coming.
Well, and you have 12 episodes of The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Is there 12 of them?
It's going to be when all is said and done.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched my first one last night,
Uh-huh.
and it's Jeff Goldblum seeing how sneakers are made.
That sounds actually really interesting.
What's interesting is seeing how interested Jeff Goldblum is in how sneakers are made.
I was at a Thanksgiving dinner with my friend and his parents.
Okay.
And it was funny because we were all trying to find something we could all agree on to watch. And so we just assumed, like, oh, they're going to love this Jeff Goldblum thing. And they were not taken with it. And I started to wonder, I was like, oh, is he kind of a generational thing? Like, are we, because we grew up with him and now we're just endlessly enchanted with him? Because they were like, what's up with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's the show is. I mean, it's a lot of him like,
Right.
Right. It's. I mean, it's he gets quite orgasmic in his enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's in full Goldblum.
He definitely Goldblums it up.
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen thus far. But it was enjoyable.
I'll have to check that out, though. That actually sounds like something I would really enjoy seeing.
It's
how
like
sneakers are made.
It's like a fun thing to just put on in the background, I would say.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of upcoming spy movies, here's another big one, and it is James Bond 25. No Time to Die. So let's play some of that.
The world is arming faster than we can respond. Where's 007?
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
The world's moved on, Commander Bond.
You were 00?
2 years. So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee. The one that works.
I thought you two would get along.
So, Brian, the last time we talked about a James Bond movie was 4 years ago.
Wow, I can't believe it was that long.
Right?
What was the delays with this? I mean, was it... I know he got injured at one point, but was there was something going on, right? Like switching directors and...
So originally it was going to be Danny Boyle.
That's right.
He left like a year ago.
Okay. Creative differences.
Yes. So two things happened. It was partly delayed because MGM is like, it's on the block every other week, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so Eon, which is the Bond production company, were like, we're just going to sit our ass down. We're going to wait until MGM gets itself sorted.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll go from there. So essentially the Bond films for the last 4 movies had been distributed by Sony.
Mm-hmm.
And then as of now, it's with Universal.
Okay.
So they are distributing it.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, and then there was the development thing, because I think Danny Boyle directed the Olympic thing with Daniel Craig. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Right, where he plays James Bond. So I think that either was like a sneak peek of what was coming, or that was what got him interested, or whatever. But anyway, he was on board.
Mm-hmm.
And then quote unquote creative differences. And what my understanding is he wanted to like kill off James Bond.
Yeah, I think I read that too.
Which I can see why the production company would be like, yeah, well, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Right.
Like, why would you think you could do that? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they got Cary Joji Fukunaga, who did True Detective
Right.
first season, and he was supposed to do It.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. He was replaced by Andy Muschietti.
Mom spaghetti. Yeah.
And so this. I mean, it's been a while in the making, and it kind of interesting. I think Cary Fukunaga is the first American director to make a James Bond movie.
That's interesting. I wonder why they decided to do that
I wonder why. Yeah, that's
after all this time.
You know, but this one comes out in early
April?
part of next year, April.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I was like, if you were in first grade when Casino Royale came out, by
Yeah.
the time this one comes out, you are in your third year of college.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I guess I haven't even thought about it in terms of time. I'm just pretty used to Daniel Craig being Bond at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a kid, that's all you know.
Right.
Right. So not in terms of movies, but in terms of time in the role, I believe by the time all is said and done, Daniel Craig will have the record. In terms of movies, it's still Roger Moore. I think he did 7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Actually, Sean Connery did 7 too, if you include Never Say Never Again. So they both did 7.
Well, come on, Craig.
Yeah. Man up, right? But you know me, I'm like such a huge James Bond fan. And I love that. I love that we can expect a new one every couple of years. So the fact that there is such a big gap has been distressing to me. I've been
Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
I've dealt with a lot of surus due to this gap. So the trailer looks terrific.
It's stunning. Like
Right?
it's a stylish, beautiful, tense trailer. It's great. Yeah, I loved it.
So it sure feels like it's meant to be a wrap up in some way of Craig's tenure.
Yeah, because I haven't seen as many Bond films as you, but this one, does this Craig run feel more serialized than the previous?
Yeah, I mean the Bond films, every single Bond film before Casino Royale had no notion of continuity other than very superficial.
Aside from reoccurring characters, right?
Reoccurring characters and in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is the George Lazenby one, James Bond gets married and his wife is killed. And then in For Your Eyes Only with Roger Moore, which is like 1981, he goes to her grave.
Okay.
Like little pieces of continuity, In License to Kill with Timothy Dalton, they refer to his wife again. But, that's really it. Each movie sort of exists in its own universe to some extent,
Right.
And so this notion of each film building on the one before it is brand new with Daniel Craig.
Yeah, which I kind of enjoy personally because it keeps me. I feel like I sort of know what's going on. I have a bit of investment in it. I remember him losing Ava Green, and I hurt when he lost her.
Yes.
And so it's that I remember that, and that's I sense that beneath the surface of this character. So it's kind of cool having that carry through these movies.
Yeah, and I mean the upside is I think it allows for a crescendo as each movie progresses, and to this one we assume. The downside, and I guess this is just a problem for after the fact, is it's going to be harder to replace Daniel Craig.
Right.
Because to some extent the MO previously used to be, let's just swap in the new guy. And off we go. Here's James Bond's new mission. I think it gets harder to do that when you've got so much of the story is sort of built around this version of Bond. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it feels like you have to start over with so much more.
Yeah, like what do you like? It's always been easy to just sort of like squint your eyes and be like, okay, this new guy's the same as the old guy, right? But I think part of that is a reflection of just there's a cartoonish element of James Bond, where the movies never really got too deep under the surface. Whereas now we've spent so much time, really digging into this version of the character. How do you just be like, all right, now it's Henry Cavill or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm not saying it. I mean, obviously they've done it a multitude of times, but I'm curious. This is the first time we're handing it off after the reboot.
Right.
And so the question then becomes, is that now going to be the thing, that every new actor equals a new reboot? Because I'm not sure I want that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I get it. That feels almost exhausting.
Right?
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons I think the Bond films have had such longevity is the fact that it just continues on and it gets handed off. But we got Rami Malek here as the villain.
Oh, this movie's stacked.
It is, right?
And,
Of course, Ana de Armas.
Yeah. Ray Fiennes, Jeffrey Wright, Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, we get to see. I mean, those guys are returning Ben Whishaw. So, they've got a really great recurring roster for these movies.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see
Léa Seydoux. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Coming back, right?
Yeah, because he leaves with her at the end of Spectre.
Right. So, the continuity there. So
yeah, it's pretty cool, and again, for me, I'm just like, I'm looking forward to another Bond movie. It's just one of those things, like every couple of years, seeing that gun barrel. To me, it's the equivalent of seeing like the Star Wars title. Yeah,
and I mean, for me, I like the movies. I'm not as connected with them as you are, but like. I see this and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to watch an action movie that looks like it's working on another level.
Yeah.
It just looks like visually alone, it's just going to be really thrilling to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited to be talking about that next spring.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some headlines to discuss, and this is our first show recording after Thanksgiving, and this first story was kind of like, I feel like it was like a Thanksgiving present aimed specifically at Brian Hall.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Well, it's funny. I woke up Thanksgiving morning to a couple texts with links to this cable commercial. And I was like, what? And so it turns out they made kind of a semi-sequel to E.T.
Yes.
With this Xfinity Comcast cable commercial. And it was fun too, because then throughout the day I was getting people like, "You see this?" kind of thing. So it's very sweet. That alone was very nice. But
and I mean, people should know if they don't already. I mean, E.T. is your ride or die movie.
Yeah. I mean, that was the first movie I saw in theaters, and it's like never let go since. And it's one of those things too. That happily, when I revisit it as an adult, I mean, it just still feels and means the same thing to me. So with that said, I was a little apprehensive starting it. I was like, oh man, I don't want to see this get ruined or be awful or cheesy or whatever. And so, the commercial starts out, for people who haven't seen it, with E.T. returning and these kids discover him. And then Elliot, as a grown man, played by Henry Thomas, who played him as a boy, runs out and is just thrilled to see his friend has returned. And it was like, from that second, I was like, oh wow, okay. I thought it was really well done, actually. I mean, what did you think?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because I watched it and I was like, wow, that wasn't what I was expecting. My frame of reference was that I think it was Google Home last year, the Home Alone thing.
Oh yes, which was very good too, I thought.
Which was fine for what it was, but what it was kind of a wink nudge.
Yes.
Sort of meta thing. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yes.
Right. And so I thought, it's probably something like that. And
right.
And then you watch it and you're like, oh, this is just like, this is Comcast. This is like, it's like an ET short film with some Comcast product placement in it.
Yeah, it wasn't too awful. Yeah, it is a commercial.
Yes.
I mean, that is its main purpose, but it's a nice, actually sweet little arc, and I found myself. I rewatched it right before the show just to refresh my memory of it, and I was surprised what a nice little short it was, and I got like emotional like watching Elliot and E.T. Reunite, but also as they're playing like the Christmas music and the kids are sledding, like they're having their own relationship with him, and Elliot can kind of lovingly watch, and I was like, wow, I'm like actually falling for this. Like this is really well done. And you know what else is fun is there's a million Easter eggs in it. I noticed a couple the first time, but this second time I noticed, I mean, there's the Dungeons and Dragons game, you know, that they're playing. They recreate exact shots like with the shed. There's even that little shark squeeze handle thing, you know, that Elliot plays with.
Wow.
Same blinds from his room when he was a boy. And then I was thinking about it too. There's a lot of Spielberg references. There's the toys come alive when the ship lands, which is like Close Encounters. And there's the Jurassic Park dinosaur in the VR thing that E.T.'s looking at. And they even have the picture Elliot drew of E.T. when he was distracted in class framed on the wall. I was like, whoever put this together, this was clearly made with a lot of love.
Well, and to that point, so this is obviously not directed by Steven Spielberg. It's directed by Lance Accord.
Oh, I did not look that up, but I was wondering. Yeah, okay.
Well, and the key thing obviously is, you know, what a lot of the commentary that I saw online, or at least a portion of the commentary, was very cynical. Like, oh, this is just another.
Oh, I wondered. I hadn't noticed. Okay,
really, you know, our dreams are just being turned into whatever. And I was like, well, I mean, there's about 17 bad versions of this that could have been made.
Absolutely. Maybe even more.
Or more, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Comcast, which of course owns Universal, which owns ET, they could have done it without even getting, like, you know, they don't owe Spielberg
right
a ton, I don't think, when it comes to ET. But Spielberg was involved in this, right? That's the interesting thing, is they went to Spielberg and they got, you know, the Don to give it his blessing.
It's wise.
Right. And then you get Henry Thomas involved, who really, see, to me, Henry Thomas is like a little bit like Ralph Macchio when it came to Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Where he has been protective of the legacy.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So to me, I was like, well, Henry Thomas didn't need to do this.
Yeah. He doesn't get like trotted out in like a red hoodie.
Yeah, right.
In like beer commercials or something. Yeah.
You know, and so I texted this to you the day that it dropped. I was like, to me, this is, as in my head, this is canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I love that this is, to me, the perfect E.T. sequel, in that almost 40 years later, E.T. came back. He met Elliot again. They had a nice little time, and then they went their separate ways. No government, no like forced drama to span 2 hours. No, it's like his little thing happened. It was nice. It was exactly what you would hope.
Yes.
And then you know, that's it.
Yeah, I and I can get really overprotective of the things that I love. I mean, see our Dark Fate episode, you know. So right. I you know, people. I feel bad for the people that enjoy it, but I thought it was really cute. I even loved the little button at the end when E.T. leaves and the boy's shirt lights up, where you think his heart is glowing, but it ends up as just that little orb that E.T. had. I was like, that's really clever.
Yeah.
That's a clever little addition and button and callback and all at the same time.
And Brian, here's the thing. Initially, I was like, I hope that's not like his iPad or something.
Oh, yes.
Right? I genuinely was like, I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was very natural how it was all integrated too, right? Where they're like, it's the holidays. It's like, let's watch a holiday movie. I was like, yeah, that works.
Yeah. Oh, look, this is the internet. Like, that's in the context of what they obviously, like, we know it's a glorified commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think they handled it in a way that really does honor the original film, and you know, it's a little coda. They didn't have to Force Awakens it, you know.
Yeah, right. And I should say too, we're talking about the nearly 5-minute version of this thing. I actually haven't seen it on television, so I don't even know how it plays as a truncated sort of thing.
That's right. I forgot that there is that like miniature version of that.
Yeah, but I saw on YouTube that it had like over 12 million views, and I was like, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, Well, you'll be happy to know I watched it with my kids on Thanksgiving morning, and they were like, "Oh wow!" Like they're ET kids. So
Yeah.
you would be you'd be proud of them, Brian.
Ah, it warms my heart.
I said this before, like they re-released E.T. into theaters, I think 2 years ago, and I took my kids to see it, and I feel like I got them at exactly right. I bullseyed the time in their life for them to not be cynical about that movie, and so now, like you, whenever it's on or we put it on, they always enjoy watching it.
Ah, that's so great. That's
See
great.
that? I did it for you, man.
Oh, thank you. Uncle Brian, his heart is warmed.
They know, and I've told them, I was like, "Oh, you guys know this is Uncle Brian's favorite movie." So,
Oh, really?
yeah, they know.
Yeah.
They know.
And by the way, I just want to do a little callback. When we did our commentary for E.T., we talked about how when it was re-released 20 years later, they put out this line of toys that just didn't really catch on with the next generation. And I was like, yeah, I remember that, yeah. And then about a couple days later in the mail, what do I receive? A package from Zachy of some E.T. toys that they had put out. I was like,
I forgot about that, actually.
That's Zachy Hassan.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else is happening? See, a couple other franchises that are looking to come back. Now, this one is like on and off, and now it's back on again.
Okay.
Which is another attempt at Star Trek 4.
Right. With the Chris Pine,
Yeah.
Cast, right? Instead of just trying to start over again.
The reboot cast.
Yeah.
So this they had talked about it previously with S.J. Clarkson.
Okay.
And this was going to be the script that brought back Chris Hemsworth as George Kirk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And this was something they talked about like way back, like when the third movie came out. They're like, oh, and this is the next one. And then Chris Hemsworth was like, well, I require money. And Paramount was like, but no, right?
Right.
And Chris Pine was like, yes, I'd like some of that money too. And they were like, but no. And so that fell apart. Paramount wanted a socialist system when it comes to...
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing, this is such a random reference, but Napoleon in Bill and Ted, when the guy at the bowling alley is like, you need to pay. And he's like, pay? It's like the studio to Star Trek. You want us to pay you?
I mean, that's basically it, right?
Yeah.
And then Tarantino got involved briefly. He's like, hey, I got an idea for Star Trek 4 too, as he drops like a bag of burning poo and runs out of the room. So we don't talk about that now. Supposedly that's still happening. We'll see. Anyway, but here's the interesting thing. I don't think it's at all coincidental that the merger happens between Viacom and CBS, and suddenly another Star Trek movie gets front-burnered. Right? And so they've made a deal with Noah Hawley, who created the Fargo TV show.
Yeah, which I really like.
Right, and he also created Legion.
Yes.
On
yes,
FX.
Which was very cool and stylish and interesting, but I did fall out of it.
I watched like the pilot, I think, and
I think that might have been it for me too. And I was like, that was amazing. I don't know I'm going to come back, but that was amazing.
That was me. So essentially, and also of interest, actually, he was at the time before the Fox Disney merger, he had written a script for a Doctor Doom movie.
Oh, interesting.
Which is something I, completely unrelated to that, had said on the show. I was like, oh, they should make a movie of that.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that.
So he beat me to it.
Yeah.
Damn him. But anyway, so...
Hey, it didn't get made.
Maybe it still can, yeah. So this is gonna bring back the JJ verse cast.
Yeah.
Apparently Chris Pine is back on board. So that makes me happy because I've said that all along. I'm like, look, just pay the guy what he wants because you can't be like, oh, Captain Kirk is like back home in Iowa. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's a high school reunion, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they got him back, and I think the calculation here is very simple, right? Paramount has very few franchises. Star Trek is one of their big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do they roll the dice on yet another incarnation of the movies, or do they work with what they got?
Yeah, I feel I know the last one didn't perform like they wanted, but I do feel like there is an affinity for this cast.
Yes.
And it's such a large ensemble to replace all those people successfully again. I just don't like those odds.
Yeah, and even if you say, okay, we're not going to do that crew, let's just do entirely new characters. Well,
Sure.
That's an even bigger gamble.
I was gonna say I don't know that I would need to be convinced to go.
Yeah,
personally, as like a middling Star Trek fan.
I mean, the smart play here, and I think hiring somebody like Noah Hawley could be an indication that this is their intention, is to spend substantially less.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pay the actors whatever you agreed to pay them. Don't shortchange them, but otherwise do something ground level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even because I think Star Trek works best that way. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the second movie, The Wrath of Khan, which is considered the best one, that cost $11 million in 1982. Right?
Wow.
It was originally intended as a TV movie.
Yeah. That's what $4 million less than what Scarlett Johansson's getting for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? You know, exactly. And why? You know, they didn't have spend a ton of money. You know, Ricardo Montalban's pecs were all natural, not digital. You know,
Right.
That's no effect. That's pure Montalban. Right. So, I mean, I tweeted this earlier this year. Like, I was like, I don't get hung up on canceled sequels and stuff like that, but I was like, I want to see Henry Cavill back as Superman. I want to see Chris Pine back as Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know? And what's funny is I saw an interview with Henry Cavill just recently. I think it was in Men's Health, where he said, "Well, I haven't given it up yet."
Hey, I want to see it. I want to see a proper Superman sequel. I want to see a Superman movie.
You know what's funny is I saw an interview with him by a journalist named Kevin McCarthy, and the journalist was asking him about the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, what did he say?
And so he's like, well, I haven't seen any Snyder Cut, and, you know, I don't want to spend time talking about the past. It is what it is. I want to talk about the future, moving forward. And I was like, this man is a politician. Like, he's a man who really wants to keep that cape.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was connecting some dots here, and stay with me on this. One of the big new DC movies that's just been scheduled is Black Adam.
Okay.
Right? And that's coming out in 2021, right? And it's starring Dwayne Johnson, right?
Right.
Now, interesting here is this is a movie that Dwayne Johnson's been attached to for a long time, and you know, he's been really pushing it for it hard, and they finally dated it. And one of the pieces of promo art that Dwayne Johnson commissioned is him fighting Superman. Specifically, Henry Cavill Superman.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So, in other words, it's like a piece of fan art where it's the Dwayne Johnson Black Adam versus the Henry Cavill Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I was like, that's really interesting. I wonder, like, what the thought process is there, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it occurs to me, I'm like, Dwayne Johnson's manager is the same as Henry Cavill's manager.
Oh, really?
Right? So the plot thickens a little bit.
Yeah. I didn't. That's pretty good.
Right? So can't you see a scenario where Dwayne Johnson kind of very subtly puts his thumb on the scale?
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. Black Adam is a Shazam villain.
Okay. I was going to say I don't know anything. I don't know if him and Superman have ever squared off.
I mean, they've squared off, but he is a Shazam villain.
Okay.
Like, he in the movie Shazam, the wizard is like, I gave my powers to somebody once before and he proved unworthy or whatever. That's Black Adam. Right? And I'm like, we're not talking about Black Adam versus Shazam. We're talking about Black Adam versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting, though, because then it would almost feel like Superman's the guest star again in a movie.
Well, I'm wondering, you know, I'm sure the calculation here is let's get Black Adam established and then make people want to see the Versus movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I feel like my point is I feel like this story is developing. I don't think the Henry Cavill as Superman saga is over yet.
Quite done, yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. It'll be in his contract, any movie he does from now on. They're like, hey, we're thinking about mustache. He's like, no, not yet. Like,
I mean,
upper lip clean.
Like 2 weeks ago, it was release the Snyder Cut was trending on Twitter or whatever, and you had like Ben Affleck tweeted it, and Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa, and all these people whose jobs are either A, secure, or B, they don't give a crap anymore. Right? Henry Cavill noticeably didn't partake in that, and I'm like,
interesting.
This is a man who still wants that gig.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Huh? That's interesting.
Because the Rock's man, her name is Danny Garcia. She's his ex-wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Still his manager.
Still his manager, and she is also Henry Cavill's manager.
Okay.
So there we go. We weren't planning on going down that rabbit hole, but
No. Well,
that one's free, y'all. Another franchise coming back. Brian, everything's coming up Zacky today, Brian.
I know it totally is.
So Disney purchased 20th Century Fox, and they've mostly let the Fox assortment of goodies lie fallow for a time. However, Planet of the Apes is one of the franchises that they're looking to bring right back under the mouse label.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
got a new character, people.
Yeah, I know. Hey, everybody.
That could be Darth Vader in that play, you know. Can't hide forever, Luke.
So this is interesting. Now it's going to be directed by Wes Ball, who did the Maze Runner films.
Which I have not seen.
I've not seen a one.
No, but I did see I was looking at the comments in a couple sections, and people were saying, while the movies haven't necessarily been super memorable in the public consciousness, they say he's a pretty good director. They're well done.
That's the gist of what I've heard. Like, he brought them in under budget and made them look pretty good, and
Yeah.
So now, I have no idea what their plan is for this. Whether they're just gonna, ignore the Matt Reeves films and completely start over, or remake the 1968 one. But I'm just excited to see that Planet of the Apes is still considered something viable.
Yeah. That I didn't even think of it that way in terms of you, my friend. Like this is really exciting that like your beloved franchise. Yeah, this is like one of the on the front burner, of things that Disney is thinking is worth doing. So that's really exciting.
That was my thought. I was like, it's not like Disney needs to make an ape movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That was my thought too. Yeah.
So I mean, they've got an embarrassment of riches when it comes to franchises. So the fact that they've presumably got a pitch here. Now I'm guessing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the development on this probably started before the sale, right?
Yeah.
So then, whatever was already in the pipeline was appealing enough to keep going with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think that's because this is so soon after the sale that it's not like they would have started from zero. There's probably something already at some stage.
You'd imagine, yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I think I've said this before, but I would still hope that we don't end up redoing the original movie, the 68 movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, well, they did it once.
They tried.
We have it.
What the hell's going on? They did the Tim Burton attempt at that, and so that can you can listen to our commentary track on that to hear what I.
That's right. Yep.
I don't know about you. I forgot that we had done that.
I did till this very moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's like 2,000 years of story time available between where War for the Planet of the Apes left off and where we need to end up with Chuck Heston running through a cornfield. So, go ahead, do like 1,000 years from this last one. Mm-hmm. So it's in effect, it's like a stylistic reboot.
Sure.
But you still keep the threads. There's no reason to throw everything out, is what I'm saying.
Right. The history is all there, but yeah, we can drop in different segments of it.
Brian, the other thing I was thinking about was how compare this to like this to me points out why the Ape franchise is something you can keep going back to versus something like Terminator.
Why is that?
Because Terminator is like one premise that you keep sort of rearranging. You know, it's like you know that game. It would be like a party game that you'd get in like a goodie bag where it's like you have the squares and you have to sort of.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Where it's a bunch of tiles and there's
Yes.
one tile missing, and so you shuffle them to try to put a
See,
image together. Yeah.
This is why we're friends. You see? The fact that you got exactly what I was talking about. Like, that's
Yeah.
Terminator, is what I'm saying. Like, you're pretty much locked into that,
Yes. Oh, it's a good analogy. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you only have so many tiles to shift around. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Damn, Zachy. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that.
I think that with the Ape films, I mean, you've got obviously the iconic original movie, which is like the best thing you can do with that premise, right? Mm-hmm. But we've also got 50 plus years of all kinds of things that they've proven that they can do with this premise too.
Right.
So, in other words, the boundaries of what to expect within the franchise are such that you can do a lot of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. And it'll still feel like a Planet of the Apes movie.
Right.
I think that's, the fact that we've got, this trilogy, the Caesar trilogy, which is sort of like the Christopher Nolan-esque version.
Right.
That feels like it fits that. And then you've got kind of the more bonkers original 70s ones. And you got, it's like there's more to do. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's what's promising to me. And I know nothing about Wes Ball, but admittedly, I knew nothing about Rupert Wyatt. I knew nothing about Matt Reeves.
Right.
And so I think there's an opportunity to really do something fun. I just I don't know. I'm always cautious because you worry about going back to the well too many times.
Yeah, sure.
But the other thing when you think about it is like Fox doesn't have that many viable franchises that Disney can just run with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the first thing that popped into my head for some reason was Predator.
Sure, which is
because that was a recent sequel that just came out. But yeah, you just can't imagine that.
that not for a while.
Yeah.
Alien, not for a while.
Yeah.
And you sort of go Die Hard, not for a while. Like you go down the list and you're like, wow, well, I'll be damned. You got like Deadpool and Planet of the Apes. That's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
And Home Alone. You saw they're remaking Home Alone.
What's funny is I was on Vudu the other day and they have like a Home Alone bundle for sale.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like 5-movie bundle. And my kids are like, there's 5 Home Alones?
Right.
And I'm like, look, I don't even like admitting the second one exists.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the other ones,
Well, I gotta say, remember they were gonna do that Ryan Reynolds stoned Home Alone thing?
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Where I think that just got canceled.
Yeah.
After the sale. But it sounds so funny because it seems like something I should think sounds stupid, but I was like, that just sounds really funny to me. An older guy getting stoned and then burglars come into his house and it's like Home Alone, but I don't know why. I thought that sounded hilarious.
But stoned. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. So no idea when the new Apes is coming, but I'm just glad that it's coming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And here's another 4th entry. I just realized we kind of have like a theme right now where we're doing like number 4 sort of.
Wow, it didn't even occur to me, but yeah, wow, good catch.
Apes 4, Star Trek 4, and then Ghostbusters. Well, it is the 4th Ghostbusters movie, although apparently we've dropped the 2016 one straight down the memory hole. It no longer exists.
Well, that's funny because would you have ever, even before that movie was announced, would you ever imagine within just a couple of years we would have 4 Ghostbusters movies?
I would not have. I would not have expected it. I still, as much as I'm intrigued by this new one that they're doing, I question whether people will get what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I haven't thought about it. I mean, what do you think? Do you think this current culture cares about Ghostbusters? I mean, obviously there was a lot of weirdness around the last one for all sorts of unfortunate reasons. But with this one, I mean, is this a guaranteed hit? Or is this like let's see if people show up to this?
Well, so I think it's a guaranteed break even.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right, because they didn't spend a lot of money on it.
Right.
And
wise. Wow, they actually a studio did it.
I know, right? So so by the way, the film is called Ghostbusters Afterlife. You know, they might as well call it Ghostbusters No Girls Allowed or something like that to like, you know.
I hope that's not the case. Yeah,
I know. You know, well, and it's not because obviously there's females in the ensemble in this one, but that's obviously what they need to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is unfortunate because you and I both were like, it's fine. The 2016 one.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, I didn't love it, but I didn't think it was terrible. It was just this was what it was.
It was what it was, and truthfully, if they had made a sequel to that, I'd be like, all right, that's fine too, whatever. Like again, life's just too short, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, big picture, that's ultimately what we're talking about. However,
we almost need a life's too short button for a lot of the stories we cover.
I would love a movie film branded "Life is Too Short." You know,
Yeah.
that could be like the sort of the mantra of our show. You know?
Yeah. Like let's just enjoy what you want to enjoy, and
Let's move
otherwise,
on.
life's too short.
Life's
we need
too short.
Anthony Hopkins. It has to be Anthony Hopkins. Life is too short. Yeah.
So anyway, so here we go. Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is directed by Jason Reitman, and it is the official sequel to the previous two films. Mm-hmm. So we have shunted the 2016 movie into an alternate timeline. It's in the multiverse somewhere.
We can do that now.
We have multiverses. We have a multiverse of multiverses.
Yes.
So, which is nice. So this picks up, you know, however many years after that, and it's really they've done a pretty good job of keeping the whole thing under wraps. I mean, we didn't even have a title until this week.
You're absolutely correct. I haven't seen any pictures from filming or anything.
Anything, right? So now this morning, like literally as we are recording, about 5 minutes before we started, this feature article dropped in Vanity Fair in advance of the trailer coming next week, right? Mm-hmm. And it kind of gives us a sense of what the story is. We got Carrie Coon as a single mother, and McKenna Grace is her daughter, and Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah.
And also It, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the son. So it's these two kids who are apparently the grandchildren of an original Ghostbuster. Mm-hmm. And if I were to guess, I would say it's Harold Ramis's character, Egon.
Yeah.
That would make the most sense to me. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting because we really have no sense of what those characters' personal lives were other than like Peter Venkman, right? So there's actually a lot of room to backfill, you know, character information about them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So these kids, anyway, it's been, you know, I mean, gosh, it's 30 years since Ghostbusters 2. So all the shenanigans that happen in those movies are just they're myths. It's like The Force Awakens. They're Force Awakensing this.
Yeah. That's a good, because I remember watching Ghostbusters 2 for the first time a couple years ago. And it sort of surprised me because it was supposed to be not that long after the events of the first movie that
5
New York
years.
had just so quickly forgotten
what
had happened. So it makes sense in this one. It could be people that are it's just actually in the Irishman, they talk about Jimmy Hoffa. There's a moment where the guy who Robert De Niro's character talks to an orderly at a nursing home, and he's like, "Do you know who Jimmy Hoffa is?" And she's like, "No." And it's it's just time moves on, and these things can become myths. You had the benefit of time with this story.
Well, and so Paul Rudd's character is like the kid's teacher. Mm-hmm. And he's like Harrison Ford. He's like, it's true. All of it.
Yes.
So he basically, he's like, no, I remember when all that stuff happened. And they call it the Manhattan Cross Rip, which was 1984. The first movie. And I love that phrase because it's such a Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters-ism, you know?
I love it. And I love the idea of someone who was there, and maybe he was some character that they pushed out of the way in the first movie as a kid and saved him, and now he's like, yes.
Well, the beauty of it, Brian, is Paul Rudd is us in this movie.
Yeah, right.
He's the surrogate for all of the people who were kids back then who grew up with this and who've been hoping for something to exist within that world. Now, beyond that, we don't really know much, but I mean, we look at the picture here in Vanity Fair, there's a pretty cool thing with the original Ecto-1 sort of driving around I think it's a cornfield.
Yeah, I like that image.
and so I'm like, okay, bring it on. Let's see what this is going to look like. And I think, and there's another picture here where you have Paul Rudd's character holding up a ghost trap. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like, clearly this movie's going to be leaning heavily into the nostalgia aspect of it.
Right, I imagine.
And so to circle all the way back around to what you were saying, if there's an audience, I mean, if there is an audience, it's the audience that this one is being aimed at. Mm-hmm. Because I think the kids will be there. Like, kids will just show up.
I think so. I mean, I think you'll get the people who want to go back, and then you hope that you captivate the younger audience. And it sounds like they put the correct amount of money on the table for this one. Like, let's see if we can do this, and if they do, I'm sure there'll be a bigger sequel.
Yeah, and I mean, I think unfortunately the only thing really working against this movie is the existence of that 2016 movie.
Yeah, just all the weird negativity still, the stink still in the air from nasty people.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, it's. And what the hell, because we've made so many allusions to Terminator this episode already, but it's sort of like one of the things that worked against Dark Fate is it was like, oh, ignore those other sequels. This is the real sequel, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of the same problem where it's like, well, that's 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just looking at these pictures again and stuff, and we haven't even seen a trailer yet, and I know we're sort of speculating from the little tidbits we have, but I love the idea of a smaller scale. I don't feel like Ghostbusters should feel like an Avengers movie.
Yes.
Like it should be about real people encountering some thing invading their real lives. It doesn't have to be big.
And if they're smart, I mean, you spend at a scale, and you tell a story at a scale that doesn't make it life or death if the movie succeeds. But if it does succeed, now you've opened the door to do something bigger the next time around, and you've reestablished this universe, right? Mm-hmm. And I think this is a universe that actually does have room for a lot of different kinds of stories if they do it right, and we know that all the surviving Ghostbusters are going to be in the movie in some capacity. Okay. Including Bill Murray.
Wow.
So, I wonder. I think Jason Reitman, being the guy calling action, is what probably got even Bill Murray on board. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who I like. His successes are a little all over the place. Like some movies have hit with people, like Up in the Air and Juno, and some of them haven't.
Yeah.
But I like him. I find he's I feel like he has a voice. It's a very subtle voice, but I have noticed a voice. So I'm curious what that'll look like for this.
What's funny is I didn't know until very recently that he's the kid at the beginning of Ghostbusters 2.
No.
Who's like, you guys are full of crap, my dad said,
That's funny.
Because I was like, that looks like Ivan Reitman, like it took...
Oh, funny.
it took maybe too long for me to connect the dots,
Right. I don't know the movie well enough, so I can't picture it. But
at the I'm sure you remember the scene where they're in the they go to the birthday party.
The birthday party, I do remember that.
So he's the kid who's mouthing off to them.
Yeah.
Which is why that's what makes it funny, in a meta sense, right? He's like, my dad says you're full of crap, and his dad is Ivan Reitman, and that's
right.
It's fun.
Right.
But anyway, Ghostbusters Afterlife coming next summer.
Cool.
So I would rather live in a world where Ghostbusters is a successful franchise than a dead franchise. So I'm rooting for it.
Absolutely.
But speaking of successful franchises as opposed to dead franchises, I hear some music, Brian.
You speak of this music. I never hear this music, Zachy. I'm really becoming concerned. No.
The music surrounds us. It binds us. It holds this segment together.
Brian closes his eyes and takes a deep breath.
And disappears.
Music too. Exactly. He sees two suns in the distance. Yeah.
So we're what are we, like 20 days away from Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I'm having such a unique experience with this one because each one I'd been like really anticipating, and this one I'm looking forward to it, but it hasn't been taking hold of me this year. I'm like, yeah, it'll get here. It'll get here.
Yeah.
But now that we're this close, I'm like, oh, it's so close. Like, you know,
Starting to
the
feel it a
excitement
little.
has caught up with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because J.J. Abrams is one of those few directors these days, like newer directors, who everybody kind of knows who he is. Like he's the big enough of a personality that he can go on talk shows.
Right.
And be like, we got J.J. Abrams tonight, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, you know, like I can't imagine Wes Ball is going to go on the Tonight Show for Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
So along with that, you know, he's doing all these interviews now about writing the final chapter of Star Wars, but it's easy. I've forgotten that Chris Terrio has co-wrote it with him, who wrote Argo previously, and he was
Batman
hand-selected
versus
by
Superman.
J.J. Abrams to help him.
Yeah.
And so he just gave an interview, which was kind of interesting. It was over at Polygon.com, and it was just kind of a fun interview with them talking about the approach that they had to wrapping this whole thing up. And I think a lot of people are wondering if they were handed some sort of story, because Colin Trevorrow and his writing partner had previously been on this, and he, in this interview, is basically like, well, not really, like me and JJ and Kathleen Kennedy and Michelle Rejwan, I think is how you say it.
I think so.
And a couple people he said he went into this room at Bad Robot that was just nothing but whiteboards, and they're like, here we go. You know, and wrote down, what do we want to see? Like, what would be really cool? What do we feel like is not resolved yet? And they said that they thought about not just what's not been resolved in this trilogy, but what's not. Let's think back to past movies. And J.J. Abrams had a funny thing where he was saying, you know, there's a line. He didn't say what it was. I wish he had. But there's a line in Empire Strikes Back. I never understood it. I wonder what that means. Put it on the whiteboard. So when they really talk about trying to wrap up this entire 9-film series, it looks like they, you know, how much they had time for, who knows, but it looks like they really did try to map this whole thing out and figure out how this can be a true series conclusion. So I don't know. It's all, you know, remains to be seen. We'll see how it turned out, but that's all really fun stuff to read about.
I worry that they're setting too high a bar when you make a statement like that.
That's true. Or you can become overwhelmed in trying to take care of too much. I mean, they said that when they looked at the whole series, I think they said there was like 24 character arcs.
Yeah.
You know, prominent ones. And they even took those into consideration, or which arcs of those didn't feel like they had been concluded yet. So, I mean, I don't know. Lando and this one, maybe that stemmed from that. You know, who knows?
Yeah, well, and Billy D. Williams gave an interview recently, and you know, they asked him, like, is this really like the end? And he said something which I think is illustrative of his experience in this industry. He's like, well, you know, everything can come back if you want to make more money, you know.
right,
and you sort of picture him saying that in that Billy D. Williams way, you know.
Right. Well.
Yeah. And the trio of main actors in this trilogy, they're being very like, no, we're done.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing about the three of them. And I did read the Daisy Ridley interview in GQ.
Okay.
Where she seems grateful for the experience, but she seems like Last Jedi really like did a number on her. And I think
Really?
it's not just the film itself, but the fandom of it all. You know, she says that JJ warned her about all this, and, you know, Carrie Fisher famously warned her about this on a talk show, but it just seems like it's been sort of relentless in her life. She talks about getting a new apartment, and within a day, people figure out where she lives and are ringing her doorbell trying to get pictures, and even more sort of scary experiences of being followed and things like that. So she had this sort of, just reading it, you could get this sort of exhausted sense from her. I don't think it seems like something she'd be quick to return to at the moment. It would have to be with some time and probably a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man, the no pun intended, but the dark side of fandom.
Right.
Which has obviously always been there. But
yes.
Right. I mean, it's going back like forever ago, right? But it obviously, the internet has given a megaphone to this stuff. But you wonder, like, has it gotten worse?
I don't know if it's encouraged more people to be nasty than would have previously. Like stoked fires, but it's certainly given more megaphones out, and that's covered too because Ridley had a fairly successful Instagram account, like a couple million followers.
Wow!
And she just dropped out of it all of a sudden. And
really,
she said that it wasn't necessarily due to toxic fandom, but just an exhaustion of having to be a presence like that. So that's something that, and Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, those people had their own struggles.
Yes.
But it seems like a new sort of struggle that's just added to the pile for someone in a franchise like this with that much exposure worldwide.
It's, I've said it before, and I don't know if this can apply to every fandom, but it sure feels like no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
It's so weird. Yeah, it didn't. It wasn't always like this.
And honestly, like, I look back at the prequel era, and I remember, I mean, just being honest, I was probably part of the problem.
Yeah, but you know what? And I will agree with you that I was too.
That I was part of the problem.
we had our negative feelings, but they weren't so nasty.
Right.
They weren't personal. We just had problems with execution, and we're like, I wish it had been this, and why would they do that? But it wasn't like, I hate this person, or... Yeah,
it's just, I mean, there's value in an unexpressed thought.
yeah.
Not every stupid, garbage thing that passes through your brain pan needs to be, put into 240 characters.
Yeah, and I think also, to be fair, the older you get, also you put some distance between these things. I mean, we need that Anthony Hopkins button now, like life's too short. Like I think it's totally valid to be upset when something you had been looking forward to isn't good or isn't, the way you want it to be. Like, well, that's a bummer.
Okay. But
I think
Ryan,
that's about as far as it needs to go.
We've established this on the Movie Film Show, and so this is therefore the law moving forward. How long are you allowed to be upset about a movie?
Oh, wait, I forgot. I do remember this, though.
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, and then we need to move on.
You move on. You work through all your feelings. You get, go to church, whatever you got to do.
And then, clean slate. I mean, I do understand, because Star Wars is forever, right? Like, yeah. It can be a bummer. Attack of the Clones will be on TV in a certain moment. I'll be like, ugh. But you know what? This is my personal journey. I can't make anyone have the same journey I've had, but it does feel good to put that behind you and just sort of enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. I hope, same as like when I talk to Ryan Johnson, right, where he's like, there's obviously the negative stuff out there, but like I've seen so much more of the positive stuff.
Right.
And I would imagine that is the case for these new actors as well.
Mm-hmm.
I hope,
I would hope so. Much like you with the prequels, where you said Ewan McGregor, who you've spoken with,
yeah,
he had to live in a time where he's like, oh wow, people aren't really digging this, but now he's seen it blossom into this thing where the kids who watched that was their first Star Wars experience. He knows that it is beloved by an audience. Yeah. So I hope that this generation of Star Wars actors feels the same experience.
In a broader sense, and this is something we talk about a lot, right? But it's like the ability that social media gives you to just instantly put your opinion about things or people into the world without thinking about how those people would react to that.
Yeah. I think I don't think about this because I don't really reach out to people on social media like that, or like, what do you call it, where you like put their tag in there so they can see it if they at them. Yeah. Well, that kind of gets to our next item here with Colin Trevorrow, because someone did write something, and I believe he included them in it, like added Colin, and then Colin responded. So it's they are reading this stuff. But yeah, I think personal feelings aren't put into play. And then I feel, oh shoot, I wish I could remember who said this. I'm forgetting now. But I think I was just listening to something or reading something where a celebrity was talking about the fact that they've noticed that people don't consider that. But then when you reply, they immediately sort of shrink back and go, "Oh, I kind of didn't expect you to actually see this." And yeah, I'm sorry. You know, like there's just this sort of, they're not considering the human being on the other end of it. And when they are confronted with it, it's almost without fail changes their tone or tune.
Which, I mean, it's good that their tone changes,
Yeah.
but it's bad that they don't realize that ahead of time,
That it took that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But anyway, well, so with that said, the Colin Trevorrow thing, it's known that there was a previous iteration of this final installment that Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly, his writing partner, had written, and for episode 9 that Trevorrow was going to direct, and then eventually, he was jettisoned from the project and it went over to J.J. Abrams. So a lot of people are wondering what that was, and Trevorrow has said, I think gamely, addressing his story credit, there was enough of my stuff in there that people agreed was worth seeing, and that's really cool. And what it is and how I feel about it just isn't for me to talk about right now. Seemed like a nice end of story.
Yeah.
But then apparently some writer, I actually don't know who said this, someone who's kind of digging into spoilery stuff.
Yeah, so this is a Twitter account called Making Star Wars, which is related to the website makingstarwars.net.
And they are trying to break down like all the spoilers into like a readable, you can go get the whole movie spoiled for if you want at the time, right? Okay. So they were talking about things that they had read that came from a Trevorrow version and put it out there as if it was news, and Trevorrow was like, incorrect.
Yes.
He said, this is what he wrote in response. Normally I'd say nothing, but not a single thing in here was ever in any screenplay Derek and I wrote. Not one thing. All the best to you guys.
Oh, jeez, that's awkward.
I know. And just sort of scanning it real quick, it's one of the things is for Rey's heritage, Leia's servant was Rey's mother, is something that they said.
Yeah.
And that the final confrontation between Rey and Kylo would happen at the Solo family home.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be in some sort of grand arena, Star Destroyer hangar. It was in like a house
which I picture like the living room from the Dick Van Dyke Show.
I was actually picturing a dining room from a house where I grew up, and I was like,
that's the Solo home, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's poo-pooed that, and there you go.
Well, and per this, this source, which has now obviously been dismissed, but the idea was that Rey and Kylo Ren are not siblings, but they essentially grew up together like siblings.
Right, brother sister like, yeah.
Which makes me say, well, how would they not recognize each other then, right?
Yeah. Unless they're relatively young. It seems like they might remember each other.
You'd think so, yeah. So I read that initially before the Trevorrow clapback, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I had no feelings about it because I was like, A, it's not getting made anyway. And B, I was like, there's not enough here. But I am curious, like, if there's even a whisper of truth to any of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. This reminds me over 10 years ago when Crystal Skull was coming out, and what's his name? Frank Darabont.
Yeah.
It was very public that he had written a draft that got rejected, and he was not happy about it.
Yes.
And when the movie was approaching, I remember thinking, what I would give to read that draft.
Yeah.
And almost miraculously, well, I wouldn't call it miraculously, it's probably Darabont, but it just appeared. It was very available.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, well, how about that? And so I remember going to the mall in a food court and reading it, looking at the Crystal Skull poster for the movie that hadn't come out yet, and just being able to wonder no more. So it's... that
was the Saucerman from Mars script.
No, there's that one, and then there was another one that was the Crystal Skull. It was a Crystal Skull plot, and there were elements that remained, a couple set pieces.
Really, but
I believe that's the one though that had all the girlfriends in it. That's
the Saucerman one.
No, it was the Darabont one. Saucerman came maybe like 10 years previous to that.
But that was not Darabont?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that fourth Indiana Jones had a pretty tortured production process.
Yeah, but it's funny because
And then
it
a
was still
tortured
surprising.
viewing process for us. It didn't stop.
Yeah, it bonded us for life. That's
It really
for sure.
did.
But it's one of those things where I still kind of can't believe that got leaked. But this, I cannot imagine this script will ever get out. I'm sure.
Oh, I think the mouse guard has it under lock and key, right?
I would agree.
Well, any other Star Wars news worth mentioning?
Mandalorian.
Yeah. So
how are we feeling? We're 4 episodes deep. The 5th one dropped today, which I don't think either of us have seen. But
I have not seen it. Yeah. So the 4th one was doing a little Magnificent Seven remix.
Yeah. And I'd say, well, I guess we should say spoilers for the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was the episode where I finally. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, this is the episode where I finally feel like I understand what the show is. I think we're so used to the idea of a heavily serialized show, something like Stranger Things, where it is, or like Watchmen. I think I mentioned last time, like it's an 8-hour movie, and this is not that. This is a television show, and it's sort of like the continuing adventures of the Mandalorian. Like he has picked up a character in the first episode, and that is the continuing storyline. But as he continues with this character, he just bumps into different sorts of adventures. And I think I wasn't getting it with the second episode, which I really enjoyed, but I was like, oh, that was random. But now I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it now. This is sort of like almost like an old school show. It's
episodic.
Yeah. I saw someone, I forget who, someone on Facebook or something was like, oh, it's like Renegade in Star Wars. It's like
That's perfect. That's really fun.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the 4th episode is as I mentioned earlier, it's sort of it's doing a version of the Magnificent Seven, which was itself doing a version of the Seven Samurai.
Right.
So you can see the sort of Star Wars lineage there. Mm-hmm. And I liked it, but if I'm being honest, I think I liked it the least.
It felt rushed to me. I didn't mind the concept of it. And it's one of those things where it's never a great thing when you see the concept presented and you go, oh, we're doing that.
Right. Yes.
And I felt that a little bit. And it felt pretty hurried. Right? Because it's like, what's going to happen. Like, oh, they're going to train the village. They're going to da-da-da-da-da. But I still had fun. I mean, when all was said and done, when it was over, I was like, okay. Like I said, this one really set my calibration for this show. And I was like, oh, I got it. I got what this is now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the episodes are so bite-sized that at the very least it comes and goes pretty quickly.
Yes.
So you're kind of like to me that was the hardest adjustment to make initially, where I just assumed it was going to be an hour-long series. And then you're like, oh no, they're doing it's like the syndicated, like the old Superboy TV show from the 90s. It's like a half-hour thing. I'm the only person who will ever make that comparison. This is how my brain
works. It does have that real old school.
Yeah.
I can't believe you call it old school. I mean, but it does, like that sort of that feel, which is kind of interesting. And I'm Jon Favreau behind it. I'm sure he wanted to harken back to something that he grew up with.
Yes. Well, and by the way, I don't know if you saw this, but they've said that they're going to release episode 7 of the show 2 days early.
Oh, why is that?
Because that's going to be the week that The Rise of Skywalker comes out, and there's going to be some kind of something tying in with The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Now, if I were to guess, I don't think it's going to be anything like content-wise, like within the show.
Oh, I see.
I mean, maybe they'll do like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., with the Winter Soldier.
Right.
But that seems unlikely to me. But regardless, normally they release it on Fridays. They're releasing episode 7. So this is number 5, right? So next week is 6. So the one after that, it'll be on Wednesday.
Okay.
So there you go. There's your Mandalorian PSA.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and then I was just gonna say, I'm not saying anything anyone doesn't already know and isn't already feeling, but the Baby Yoda character is just painfully cute.
Yes.
And so I think I made a noise every time they cut to him in this last episode. I mean, he's like sipping on the little tea in the mug, and I mean, it's absurd how cute that thing is. And then I'm really loving all the memes, of course.
Well, they have in this latest episode, you see him standing there drinking like a cup of something.
Yes.
Which, like, as I watched that, this is the first time in my life I watched that, and the meme,
yes,
like, formed as I was watching. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like, by the time this episode is done, I can go on Giphy and it'll be there.
Yep.
You know, and indeed it was. So.
Yep.
There's a song that one of these YouTube personalities put out called the Baby. I don't know. It's like the Baby Yoda song, whatever it is. My kids know who sang it. I'm old enough now where I'm like, I don't know who that is. They're like, oh, it's so and so. I'm like, I don't know what you just said.
Oh, really? It was the Hamilton thing, right?
Maybe
the Dear Baby Yoda. Is that what it's called?
No, this is a different one. This is like Baby Yoda, floating in your thing or whatever.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, there's another one called Dear Baby Yoda, which is a riff on the Hamilton song.
Oh, well, there's multiples of this.
Yeah, and that it's really good.
I'll have to check
Dear
that one out.
Theodosia, it's a parody of that.
Oh, that's really funny. But anyway, my daughter's been walking around the house just singing Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. She loves Baby Yoda.
That's great.
But anyway, that wraps up Star Wars news for this week.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a little break and we'll come back and talk about Knives Out. And we're back, and hey, the movie Knives Out is in theaters right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it did okay over Thanksgiving weekend.
Not bad. What, like 40 million? Something like that. I gotta imagine that's about what it cost, right? Like
well,
40,
as of
50.
December 4th, it's at 47 million in North America.
Yeah.
Which yeah, I mean the movie's it's already overtaken its budget.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where you sort of can't predict what everyone's going to show up to. And I thought this movie would do well, but it just seems like a lot of people showed up for this, and it's really exciting when that happens. And it's not what you would imagine, like some sort of parlor murder mystery thing that would get everybody to go to the theater. But that's what I love. Like, you can't predict this stuff sometimes. You just have to choose good material, and if you build it, people will come, you know?
Well, and the fact that this was an idea that Rian Johnson had kicking around in his head for a while. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Star Wars hits, he cashes out on this. I really admire that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because this is clearly a passion project. And so not only did he invest his new clout in a passion project, but that passion has been rewarded.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So I saw this one, like, I saw this like 2 weeks before all of y'all normies.
Yeah.
So I've been patiently waiting to discuss this movie with you.
I can imagine. I saw it with a group of friends, but it was one of those things. Yeah, when you come out, it's like you just really want to talk about it with people. So I can only imagine. Yeah, you having to sit on it for a while.
But I know you liked it, but did you go in knowing anything about it? Did you go in completely cold?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, I went in a little, not skeptical, but I was just like, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But you know, I thought it was going to be one of those things. Just from the trailers, I was worried it was going to be like an ensemble of actors just hamming it up.
Yes. And
in a way that felt a little cloying and sort of obnoxious and like, yes, we get it. Like, you guys can, you know, chew all the scenery and I can tell you're having a blast, and I hope the ending surprises me, and I'm sure it's going to be clever. And I kind of went in with that attitude.
Sure.
And I was so pleased that wasn't the case, and that I just had a blast with this movie. And I think we'll get into, I really want to honor the fact that as much fun as it is to go in knowing nothing, so we'll get into the bulk of it in spoilers, even the story mechanics in spoilers, but it just totally it told a really great, interesting murder mystery, but it also found new ways to do it that I found inventive and clever and fun. And so it wasn't just like a clue collection.
Yes.
I'd read somewhere that Rian Johnson was like, as we're trying to figure this out, like I want to tell a story. Like I want a story to unfold as this is happening. And I think that really opens this up to being a much more interesting movie. I like murder mysteries, but you sort of know what you're getting into, and like let's do the process. And this was like a really fun reinvention of it, I thought.
Yeah, to the point that I can see rewatches being rewarded.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about the various, above and beyond the actors, and like you said, I think that's a really good point. Is you could see a scenario where a movie like this kind of goes off the rails because it has to accommodate this wide spectrum of actors and approaches. Mm-hmm. But I think what Johnson did that's so smart, and I think deceptively difficult, is everyone feels like they're singing from the same hymnal.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yep.
And I got to be honest, if Rian Johnson were to do like 4 more Benoit Blanc mysteries,
yes, I'm
all about it.
Yeah, the CSI KFC
right.
detective, as Chris Evans' character puts it.
Yes. I thought Daniel Craig was having such a blast. I thought Chris Evans was having such a blast.
Yeah.
Chris Evans felt just absolutely like he was luxuriating in not having to wield that shield and sort of not have to be what that represents.
Yep. Yep. He could be kind of the smarmy jerk and just say whatever he wants, and yeah.
But yeah, what were some of the things that jumped out at you?
Well, I think actually, you want to just dive into it?
Let's do it.
Because I mean, it's really hard to talk about it
without getting into spoilers.
But I would just say for people, I would absolutely suggest, if you haven't seen this, to pause and return, because I think it's really, really fun to go see a movie that's absolutely surprising.
Yes.
And where you don't know where it's going. And so I think, this is an enthusiastic endorsement, from both of us.
And an endorphin.
Endorphin. Yeah, I don't even know what word I was saying. I think I was saying recommendation and endorsement at the same time.
And just there was a car wreck that happened in your mouth. Yes, between your mouth and your brain.
And a light bulb burst behind me, and yeah.
All right, so after this point, we have spoilers.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Okay, so I think I'm serious. If you haven't seen this movie, pause it, because this is so brilliant. So brilliant. What's so great and satisfying about this movie is the fact, and I was so surprised, as we know what happens at the end of the first act. And it's with the Marta character, and we know that she's involved with the death of Christopher Plummer's character, and we don't want her to get caught. Right? So it's like the whole movie, we don't want the detective to catch her. So it's like we become rooting for her for hiding evidence and whatever. And it's funny because it's like she's not guilty, but she is involved. She knows what happened, but we know if it gets out, that could mean really terrible things for her. So I was so surprised when we found that reveal so early. I was like, oh, well, what's the movie going to do now? And then it becomes this sort of thing of her trying to cover up her tracks. And we're like rooting for her to do it. It was so clever. Like, I think in my seat, I was probably like smiling ear to ear. I thought it was so clever and fun. And watching her, the dog kept bringing the piece of wood that she had broken from that lattice or whatever it was. I was just like, it's so good. That's so fun, delightful.
Well, and she is really good.
She's perfect to have as the anchor.
Yes.
Of this movie with all these zany people around her. Yeah. I mean, zany is not an unfair word because that makes them sound like cartoons. But like just these big personalities. It's nice having this innocent person that you really are rooting for. I mean, she's a good heart to have at the center of the movie.
Well, and to that point, that's the message of the movie. What you just said, like she is a good person.
Yes.
And that's what ultimately it all comes down to when Daniel Craig at the end sort of protects her. Right. All of the characters are to varying degrees. I mean, that's the interesting thing is none of them. Well, I mean, one obviously, but the majority of them are not bad.
Right. They're not necessarily likable, but they're not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's I think the fact that. I mean, it's a real balancing act, and that's why I really give mad props to Rian Johnson the way he structured it. Like, you have to sort of like them. You can't be, but it's complicated,
Yeah. Actually, I do want to revise that a little bit. Some of them are bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yeah. I mean, there's
some
varying degrees of bad going on here, and some of them are bad.
It's weird.
But Jamie
right?
Lee Curtis, in my memory, I don't remember her being actively bad.
Yeah, I was thinking of her.
Don Johnson, I would say.
Don Johnson is pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, Michael Shannon seems harmless.
Yeah, he becomes. I mean, he becomes quite unlikable and menacing in that scene behind
Yes.
Marta's apartment, where it looks like he's. I mean, I don't think he's going to do anything physically to her, but he does get pretty nasty, talking about how he's willing to expose her.
That's right. That's a good point. Okay, even Catherine Langford.
Yes,
Like,
I really liked her. I felt bad for her conflict.
Well, but to me, I kind of turned on her when, like, she's on the phone.
Yeah, agreed.
And then,
but I felt bad that she clearly felt bad about it, and it's nice that they had that moment where she apologized at the end. But I felt bad that she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she had like this whole, if I remember correctly, it wasn't like the whole family surrounding her, and she's got tears in her eyes while she's on the phone.
Yeah.
I sympathize with her.
Toni Collette was awful.
Yes.
Right. And then
I heard somewhere else someone saying that was like a riff on Gwyneth Paltrow. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
Well, I love she says when she recognizes Daniel Craig, she's like, I saw a tweet about an article about you.
Yeah, a tweet about an article in the New Yorker or something.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Which just sums up her character so well. And then Chris Evans, I think the funny thing about Chris Evans is once you know he's the bad guy, it's a little bit like, well, duh.
Yeah.
But I think the movie actually does a pretty good job of making you be like, is he the bad guy?
I agree. I mean, that scene where he rescues her. I mean,
Yes.
The first subversion is finding out exactly what happened. Well, relatively exactly
Yes.
what happened that night, and knowing that Marta was involved. You're like,
Yes.
wow, we're doing this now. And then the next subversion is finding out that Marta was now the sole, recipient of all of Christopher Plummer's wealth, the house, the whatever, and then the whole family turning on her, and you're like, well, now what? Like, it's another sort of complication for her. And when Chris Evans sort of rescues her, in the car, and they go to that bar, at first I was like, don't talk to him. What are you doing? But then I did actually kind of come to trust him. I was like, well, he knows what he is. He even admits, like, yeah, I know it can be like a jerk or whatever, but like, I'm listening. Yeah, you sort of come to trust him. I think that was almost the genius in casting Chris Evans.
I totally agree.
You're like, well, yeah, I believe he's probably kind of a jerk older brother type, whatever, but like, I guess,
you sort of
I guess I
assume
believe
like
him.
a jerk with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
At least
Like,
initially.
well, he's willing to play ball, and
Right.
he has a stake in it, and so you almost believe that he's like, all right, well, give me some of that money and I'll help you, and I'm like, yeah, that feels like his mode. I can picture that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think once the pieces all come together, it just it's so absolutely perfect because it felt a little like good Shyamalan.
that's yeah.
Right. I was gonna say Shyamalan-y, but I'm like, that can have two contexts.
Right.
It felt like good Shyamalan, where you're like, like everything, all the neurons start firing at once,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I think the funny thing to me is that the conceit that she vomits when she lies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't even know if that's a real thing. Maybe it is, and I'll sound like an idiot. But I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. At least that it could be that spontaneous.
Yes.
From like in a moment. Yeah, but it's so perfect though, because then we're instantly confronted with a character who can't lie. Yeah, so it right. just adds, like, it's such a fun narrative function.
That was exactly my point. Is like, from a storytelling point of view, it's kind of genius, and I think what he does that's very smart is he makes you swallow, no pun intended, swallow past the fact that it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because I think for the most part I bought it as it pertained to the story. And
I agree. Yeah.
And you know, the bit at the end when she turns around and she's like, and then
I didn't see that coming.
See, I did. I was like, oh, she's lying.
Oh, see, I didn't see that coming. Oh, funny.
So I mean, and it paid off in a pretty fun way where she just blows chunks in Captain America's face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, it's so nice to have a movie like this come out, and there's no expectations surrounding it except, like, I just want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like, I was telling my students about this. I was like, you guys gotta support stuff like this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want people to. I mean, obviously, I was gonna say take chances, and it's not. It is still a chance to make this movie, but it's also, you're coming from a Star Wars director, and they're like, obviously want to work with them and have him make another big movie, and sort of like that Christopher Nolan, like, all right, make your magician movie, and then, but you're gonna make another Batman, right? You know?
Yeah, and I mean, Rian Johnson is an interesting cat, because very shortly after we started doing this show, Looper came out, and we were quite over the moon about that movie.
Yeah, he creates really. He conjures up really distinct visions.
Yes,
for each of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, he world building, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can very much see the inspirations that this movie pulls from. I mean, obviously Agatha Christie and Clue and all that, but I mean, it's not a pastiche.
No. Yeah.
I think that's what's really worth realizing for this is, like, he actually does a good job of creating something that clearly owes to all these other things, but it stands on its own. It's unique, it's different, and it's special. And I think it's something that will remain memorable for people.
Yeah, and like you said, I think I mean, I want to see it again just to enjoy it on a different level.
Yes.
Right? Like, just now that I know what's going on, it'll be really fun to watch everybody's acting and see what they're doing, knowing what they know, and now I know what they know.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But the ending too was really fun, where we get the whole reveal, and it was pretty tragic, the fact that Christopher Plummer really didn't have to die.
I know.
You know, like,
right.
There's some tragedy in that, but I love just the details of the fact that she would even know the difference between, like, just even though the labels were wrong, like, she instinctively knew the difference anyway.
Yeah.
You know, those sorts of things, and it was just, I don't know. Yeah.
No, and that just underscores what I was saying earlier, right? And that's what Benoit Blanc says. He's like, you did the right thing. You are a good person. Mm-hmm. Right? And I feel like that's such an important message to underscore, right? Like, this is a movie that it doesn't end with an FU, like, oh, look how shitty, like, look at our horrible, shitty twist ending. Like, you know what I mean? I can see the version of this where that final twist is that she's the mastermind.
Oh, sure.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like Christopher Plummer pulls up in a car behind the house and they get in together. And
yeah, exactly.
Or something. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And this wasn't that. This was, she was a good person, and this is a horrible, tragic situation, but the good person ended up being rewarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's just something about that I'm like, that's nice. We need that. We need that message sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and I love how the final shot is her drinking from that cup and it says "My Home" or something like that.
Oh, that was so good. I knew when she had it in her hand before they even revealed that. I was like, oh, I remember that from the beginning. That's so good. And I love too just all those details. Those are the details I look forward to revisiting. I love when you had that little blood splatter on her shoe that they show at the beginning to make you nervous, and it worked. I was nervous. And then I forgot about it. And then at the end, she's like, "When did you suspect that I, had like a role in this?" He's like, "Oh, the second I met you." And she's like, "How?" And he like points down to the shoe. And I was like, "Oh, that's right." So it's fun that he was intrigued, but he didn't show his cards.
Well, that's the other thing is you can see the version where he's just a bumbling doofus who accidentally backed into solving the mystery.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But they didn't do that either.
Yeah.
Like he's actually on task. He's like Columbo.
Yeah.
He gives the impression that he's kind of a bumpkin, but he's ahead of everybody else,
Yeah.
So big thumbs up from both of us for the Knives Out.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Really fun time at the movies, and awesome seeing something new. And I just I would not mind another one of these.
I would be totally on board. Like I said, give us a whole series of Benoit Blanc mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of a cool legacy for Rian Johnson, is introducing like a new detective character who becomes sort of iconic in his own way,
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure Daniel Craig must have a blast playing it.
You could tell just like Chris Evans, you could tell Daniel Craig was very happy to sort of put the 007 shackles behind him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Logan Lucky.
Right.
He has fun doing these types of roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that wraps up this discussion. What do you think?
Yeah.
So coming up, I think our next regular episode will be our discussion about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Holy cow. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I am ready.
Yeah. Well, between then and now, we will be dropping a commentary track for Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Uh-huh.
This has been our tradition that every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, we try to drop a commentary before. That didn't happen with Solo. It was immediately after. But that's because, I don't know if you remember this, with Attack of the Clones, we had to do a twofer.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
Yeah. See, y'all people don't know. We recorded that commentary twice. So, of all the movies.
Wait, why did that happen? I don't remember.
Because we had a sync issue.
Oh boy,
It was off by enough that our comments were completely incongruous with each other.
Yeah, it just wasn't salvageable. Oh,
and we were inexplicably we were toughing it out as opposed to being like, "Hey, time out."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but regardless,
and it was enough. I mean, if it was enough for us to actually decide to do that, you better believe it was probably pretty bad.
That's right. Otherwise, you'd be like, it's fine. Let's try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's the commentary track is a coming, and if there's time, maybe we drop another commentary as well between them. But our next regular episode will be our full Star Wars show.
Man, can't wait.
I know. So look for that soon, and. Christmas is coming, and we're hoping to gift y'all with a couple bonus episodes this month if we can make that happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the plan. So with that, Brian, anything you want to hype up?
Yeah, Puppy Dog Pals. Actually, I'm jetting off right after this to a screening of the new Puppy Dog Pals episode, which is a Hanukkah episode and a Christmas episode. So you can look forward to that.
And when is that going to air?
I think today.
Oh.
I think as of today, it should be out.
Well, there we go. So we are recording this on the morning of the 6th. So by the time you're listening to this, it'll be out and about.
Yep.
As for me, you can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's where I post my movie reviews as well as this show. You can also look for new write-ups by me at the San Francisco Chronicle, including a couple of fun things coming up in the next week or so, which I guess I'll talk about the next time we record. But cool. Please do keep the feedback coming. Email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. Also, go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. And with that, I will wrap up episode 188 and look forward to having you join us for episode 189 when we talk about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Jackie and